Hello and welcome back to Crypto Lion. Today we'll be looking at some huge news about Tesla buying $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin and possibly accepting it as payment. If this is your first time here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'd be notified every time we upload a new video. In a filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the company said it bought the Bitcoin for more flexibility to further diversify and maximize returns on their cash. Tesla also said it will start accepting payments in Bitcoin in exchange for its products, subject to applicable laws and initially on a limited basis. That will make Tesla the first major automaker to do so. The $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin will give Tesla liquidity in the cryptocurrency once it starts accepting it for payments. Tesla's move into Bitcoin represents an investment of a significant percentage of its cash. The company had more than $19 billion in cash and cash equivalents on hand at the end of 2020, according to its most recent filing. The move raises questions around CEO Elon Musk's recent behavior on Twitter, where he's been credited for increasing the prices of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Dogecoin by posting positive messages that have encouraged more people to buy the digital currencies. 2 weeks ago, the billionaire added the hashtag Bitcoin to his Twitter bio, a move that helped to briefly push up the price of the cryptocurrency by as much as 20%. 2 days later, he said on the social media chat site Clubhouse, "I do at this point think Bitcoin is a good thing, and I am a supporter of Bitcoin." Bitcoin prices surged to new highs following Tesla's announcement, reaching a current price of around $47,000. Tesla shares were up more than 2%. In its SEC filing, Tesla warned investors of the volatility of Bitcoin's price. Musk has gotten into trouble for his market-moving tweets in the past, but it's unclear how that applies to his tweets about cryptocurrencies. Most notably, the SEC charged Musk with fraud in 2018 for his tweets about taking the company private at $420 per share. Musk ultimately settled with the SEC and was forced to give up his role as chairman of the company's board and pay a $20 million fine, on top of another $20 million fine for the company itself. After Tesla announced it invested $1.5 billion in Bitcoin and expects to start accepting the currency as payment, Bitcoin's price went soaring. It went from around $39,400 to an all-time high of over $48,000 in less than 24 hours. The price is now up by 50% in the first 6 weeks of 2021. Led by Elon Musk, Tesla's investment is obviously in profit already. Depending on the exact day of the purchase, it's likely to be worth over $2 billion, pointing to a paper profit of over $500 million. To put that into context, when the electric car maker made its first ever annual net profit in 2020, it was just over $700 million. Tesla's move into Bitcoin comes on the back of a wave of institutional money invested in the leading cryptocurrency in recent months, plus numerous other companies putting it into their treasury reserves. With the world's sixth most valuable company also saying it might buy and hold other digital assets from time to time or long term, it must be tempting for other major companies to do likewise. Since the Tesla announcement, Twitter finance director Ned Siegel has already signaled that his company is considering such a move, while a research note from the Royal Bank of Canada has made a case for why it would benefit Apple. The prospect of a blue-chip invasion into Bitcoin has caused much excitement among cryptocurrency investors. But if Tesla does trigger such a gold rush, there will also be some unsettling consequences, such as volatility spillover. Tesla justified this material change in the way it manages its treasury reserves by stating that investing in Bitcoin will provide them with more flexibility to further diversify and maximize returns on their cash. Corporate treasurers have always used the money markets to invest surplus cash to eke out small yields, and it's harder than it used to be in the current long-term low-interest rate environment. All the same, this is very different to standard money management. Bitcoin is a highly volatile asset that you would not typically associate with the cash reserves on the balance sheet of a listed company, worth close to $1 trillion. As recently as March 2020, the price dipped below $4,000. Even in 2021, the price fell more than 30% before its most recent surge. Tesla has put almost 8% of its reserves into the cryptocurrency. If Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Twitter, and Google were to do the same, this would translate into almost another $7 billion investment. This is less than 1% of the total current worth of the Bitcoin market, but the signal that it would send to other companies and retail investors would likely trigger a bull run that would make the current market look comparably stable. Some crypto analysts are already predicting that the price will rise to $100,000 or even $200,000 before 2021 is out. Such a rise would drive up the value of Bitcoin on corporate balance sheets to do multiples of what it was at the time of investment. Tesla's 8% allocation may already have gone up 12% of the value of its reserves. And if it follows through on a potential plan to keep any Bitcoins it receives for electric cars instead of converting them into dollars, that percentage could rise all the faster. The problem is the potential effect on company share prices. Tesla's share price rose 2% on the news of the Bitcoin investment, though it has since fallen by 5%. But a longer-term example is Canadian tech company MicroStrategy. Its share price has ballooned tenfold in value in the past year on the back of a heavy investment into Bitcoin, but is also down by almost a quarter in the days since the Tesla announcement. Writ large, this could make stock markets far choppier in the future and vulnerable to a nosedive when the Bitcoin bull market ends. It would be easy to imagine that this could prompt a wider wave of selling as investors sought to cover their loss-making positions, which could be very dangerous for financial stability. Global regulators will no doubt be concerned about a potential volatility spillover from digital asset prices into traditional capital markets. They may not permit what would quickly amount to effective proxy approval by the backdoor for companies holding large proportions of a volatile asset on their balance sheets. We have already seen the likes of European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde and new U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen calling for more Bitcoin regulation in recent weeks. The view from the SEC will be extremely important, and it's difficult to predict the response of newly appointed head Gary Gensler, who himself is a crypto expert. We may see anything from a wait-and-see approach through to a ban on listed companies holding any Bitcoin-like assets. This chart shows the surge we were talking about in the price of Bitcoin, up to $48,193, and it continues rising to a higher level. For now, however, Bitcoin continues to look like a buy asset on the back of the Tesla announcement. The crypto community will be watching to see whether other major companies follow suit, and whether Tesla has the conviction to stay invested when its next quarterly announcement comes around. But if this trend continues, make no mistake that a reckoning will be coming over the prospect of the heady volatility of the crypto market going mainstream. On the face of it, a change in investment policy that simply by its disclosure adds hundreds of millions of dollars in value to a company's portfolio and billions to the company's market cap in a sort of virtuous cycle seems like a winning change. Ordinarily, such things lie forgotten in the 10K, yet it's hard to shake the feeling that it's just inadvisable. Tesla's explanation for the move, that it's to further diversify and maximize returns on their cash, is fair enough. You may have noticed that cash doesn't earn very much these days. Also, companies routinely diversify their cash holdings, especially if they operate in multiple countries. Bitcoin is anything but routine, though. It's new, stateless, volatile, subject to cyber theft and potential government regulation. It's a currency only if you squint really hard and can jump through the hoops of actually using it. Tesla's comment that it expects to begin accepting Bitcoin as payment in the near future is kind of irrelevant. Doing that doesn't require hoarding it ahead of time. On the other hand, the casual reference to Tesla taking Bitcoin as payment down the road is like digital catnip, helping to boost the value of that $1.5 billion bet. And it is a bet. Tesla's speculating with $1.5 billion of the roughly $19 billion it had on the balance sheet, $12 billion of which was raised from selling more equity into last year's frenzied rally. If confirmation were needed that Tesla announced several at-the-market offerings in 2020 simply because it could, it's hard to think of one that is more resounding. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Would you like to know more about Bitcoin? Let us know in the comments below. While you're here, check out one of our other videos. Good luck and happy investing.